Welcome back to Whitt Acres. Today we are going to be doing our garden tours week 3 this time for 2021 season. I am in southwestern Pennsylvania, so we are in zone 6A for all these. And I'm going to get you started here in the patio gardens because we just got a lot planted here and the roses are starting to bloom. Let's go ahead and get into it. Here we still have a potted red azalea just for some color in this area before we put it out in the landscape. We have a citronella plant here. It's going to get potted up here soon, but there's still some things here on the patio that needs potted up. The roses are starting to come in. I got all the hyacinths cut back. This one is supposed to be a red rose, but you can see it's very pink, very like a fuchsia pink. I think these are drift roses, not 100% sure. We got them I think 4 years ago now. Switched them out from knockout roses to these. This one's supposed to be an orange. Let me tell you, it was oranger last year. We'll see how they go. Just the first couple blooms might not be true to the color. Coming down here we have a drift rose. This one is doing great. These get a little bit more sun. You see how they're on the corner of the patio. So these are on the south side. They get a little bit more sun and they are just gorgeous. Look how perfect this bloom is. Got the water droplets on it from the morning rain. And this one on the corner is very fragrant, so I get to smell it every time I walk by. Then the yellow one up here, just gorgeous too. Look at this. Fresh bud ready to open. We got to shape them up a little bit, but I just wanted to let them get blooming this year, and then we'll start deadheading them and shaping them. But I think that's looking real good. I also this week just plugged in the Sweet Autumn Clematis, and that should be fragrant as well. We'll see how that does on the new trellis we just put in. Over here by the hose hookup, I have 2 willows in pots, and I have all my gladiolas coming up in the bed here. You can see the poppies are all coming up too, and the Minolabota Jungle Queen is ready to reach for the trellis. I think next weekend we're going to get these tarps off the patio, since now that the cold weather's done. We're going to get all these tarps pulled off and open up the patio. That way I'll be able to get my trellis up this wall right here. This is the trellis I'll be using. It's just Durowall channel for pouring concrete, but it's just 2 straight flexible lines with a little weave pattern going back and forth connecting them. Makes for a really good trellis. Those are also the same trellis system I've been using on the front of my pergola out there, which has been working out pretty well. The honeysuckle's liking it and it's pretty full. We'll go ahead out there and check it out when it's time. But before then, those are still waiting to go up, maybe next week. The Spiderwort is now in full bloom. Nice pretty purple flowers. Little yellow pollen stamen in the middle. Is that what a stamen is? I don't know. But that little bee's liking it, huh? See, he's got his saddlebags all full. This bee's just starting out in the morning, late arriver. The bees are all over that spiderwort. Coming up close behind it's going to be this orange daylily. It's already got its flower shoots up. The lavender in the back corner here did start blooming, so we'll come in here. This is the Spanish lavender, I believe. I'm not sure I'm a big fan of it. See, the ants are all over the shaft of that for some reason. They're all over that one too. It's weird. Just noticed that. Back here is my little nursery I'm holding. This is a long bean, foot long bean I think, or it could be a gourd. We're gonna find out later once it gets some true leaves. This is my giant watermelon. I'm getting that started in the root base here of mushroom compost before I send it out. And then here is my giant pumpkin. This is a Dill's Atlantic giant pumpkin. special order seeds from Worldwide Giant Growers. And it's got some burn edges, but this is the only one I got, so this is the one I'm going to go with this year. The rest of this bed is really starting to fill out, hump up. But the irises in the back are just finishing up. The Calla Lilies in between them are just starting out, coming up through. You see the speckled leaves on there. Got them in between the irises. That iris is still looking good. The bubblegum petunias are really starting to spread out, adding a lot of color in here. Big splash. As with the snapdragons. Look how full, gorgeous these snapdragons are. Especially since I planted them last year. Didn't even expect for them to be coming up this year. But they are just doing amazing. I'm really glad I did not cut those out last fall. They were just all doing real good. I threw that marigold in there and it's trying to catch up to the rest of the area. This one just had my nieces and nephews over this last weekend for Memorial Day, and I believe this one got stepped on. So struggling a little bit. It's got to bounce back. I plugged in some more snapdragons, some new ones in there around the corner, and the whole bed I think is really starting to come together. Once everything fills out, I don't think I need anything more in that bed. Ignoring all the weeds in my gravel, you can see we finally got the main area, patio garden, red bank. We'll figure out names later. But all started out here. See the hostas already got their start. Full, lush, and green. We probably can definitely be separated out. They're already having some little babies popping out here. All little babies shooting out in here. But for my scheme here, I do have some perennials. Let me back you out here and get you started with the whole scope. There are some perennials in here. Like I said, the hostas are here with a daffodil on the end. Then we have some Asiatic lilies up here. And then the gladiolas are right there by the bird bath. I just plugged that bird bath in there. I think it's a nice little cozy setting. Pretty. And then across the back is all tulips. The broken pot we have here, it kind of just shattered in the back, so I stuffed it into the bank so the back half that's broken can actually feel soil, and whatever's growing in there can grow straight into the bank. It's not trapped in the pot. It's working out pretty good. There's two flower power calla lilies, purple calla lilies right there on either side of the pot. And then these memories black Asiatic lilies, stately, popping up right there in the front. And you've already been well introduced into my lupine, which is still just glorious. Look how beautiful this lupine is, full of colas. I think last time I counted there was over 40 blooming colas here. I could come in here and deadhead some of these, but I'm actually letting it go to seed so I can get some of those seeds out of this plant. Look at the colors. Look at these colors, from dark purple to faded bright pink. Just broke that one. And then this one is so pale it doesn't even have color. Look at that. I'm just so intrigued by this plant so far. I got to get some more going. It's beautiful. It's got the morning water droplets from the morning rain holding on, just looking glorious. Great plant. The Chinese forget-me-nots are starting to bloom. You can see they're blue. They look pretty, so I'm leaving them right now, but before they go to seed I need to cut these out because I just weeded this whole area and got all of those out of here, except for a couple that were ready to bloom like this one. I'm gonna let it go just for some early color while all the annuals I just plugged in here are trying to set down feet and catch up. The other perennials I plugged in are the freesia over here. There's a yellow freesia and a white right with my rain gauge, which I think this view is just beautiful right now. You got the purples and the blues and the pinks and the greens and the texture and the height. Love it. Great rain gauge. Over here, the cold frame has been pretty neglected. We did pick some more radishes, and the carrots are still not ready yet. The arugula is starting to go to seed, and the mustard is starting to get some flea beetle. See all those tiny little holes in there. I'm really just waiting on time to rip all this out and restart it. It's not what I want, so I'm gonna have to change everything about it. We'll get there. Other things that are taking priority right now. So to get you started on the scheme of what I'm doing here on the red bank is marigolds on the top side right there. We got 3 of the marigolds, and then they come down around the lupine. Try and get some autofocus here. And then the African daisies are all through here, cascading down around another calla lily. And I put some craspedia spotted up through here to fill in that spot around the columbine. The whole bottom wave of the red bank here is portulaca. All the way across the bottom, like 3 feet, is portulaca. So hopefully that'll all fill in and make a nice colorful wave. Coming around the side of this lupine, there's more marigolds. These are Cracker Jack mix marigolds all the way across the top here, and then they come down into this grouping around the right side of that cracked pot. I think they're going to fill in. I tried putting them close enough to where they will actually hold hands and touch their leaves as they get to their mature size. A little pocket here is the Gazania. They have a nice big head. Hopefully they will be touching their leaves and filling in the whole spot. We usually plant sparsely on this mound so we can see the red mulch in between all the flowers, but this year we're going pretty dense. I tried to take the portulaca up in the different gaps of the marigolds and everything else to try and fill in as much as possible. After this patch of Cracker Jack marigolds up here, we have Gazanias as the centerpiece. Oh, not Gazanias, Gerber Daisies. We got 6 Gerber Daisies up there, different colors, red, yellow, orange. And the Cracker Jack marigolds follow right across the back and do another little patch drift here around that next calla lily. Puppy knows to stay out of the rocks, huh, Pop? He doesn't walk in the gardens. The Cracker Jack marigolds continue across the top there, but then they meet into a drift of French dwarf marigolds all the way across the top there. And then the Parks double petunias grab right above the bird bath and cascade down here. They should be a nice bright color for that bird bath. Coming in next to the bird bath, like I said, we have the gladiolas. And in front of the bird bath is 4 bunny tail grass, which should just get right above to the lip of the bird bath. I think will make it a nice cozy area for the birds. Again, brought the portulaca up into there and around. And then I have 4 of the wavy petunias, purple wave petunias. And I put those there so they can cascade and make another drift around the back side of the bird bath there. Above the wavy petunias, I do have a volunteer sunflower, which I always try and keep some of those around. I have zinnias, cut and come again mix zinnias all across the top here. There is a Persian shield, purple Persian shield from Proven Winners. I think it's going to be an annual in my area, but it should be about 3 to 4 feet tall, and it's just nice striking black purple foliage. The zinnias follow all the way down to some petunias. More petunias I put into this little area, and then the drift of portulaca runs all the way to the hostas. These petunias probably won't make it, but I have backups to throw in, so that's okay. I'm just giving them a chance right now. You can see the red bank's got a couple spots of color, but I'm hoping this is going to really fill in with the... What did I put in here? I put 219 starts. Yeah. 219 plants annuals went into this red bank this year. So hopefully we can get that gravel cleaned up, and then it might actually start looking pretty good. We still have some things ready to go out, some trees. That's a nice black spruce right there. But in here, the dahlia is doing pretty good. It's growing up, but since it was getting kind of tall, I went ahead and cut the top off my dahlia so it can branch out and be a little bit more stockier, throw out some more extra flowers. The poppies are starting to bloom pretty good. Filling out the bed, coming through the fence. Starting to like it. I think there's going to be a lot more flowers here once the heat picks back up. My pot here with the nasturtium and the mint is starting to take off. I gotta smell this mint, see if that, or the, I don't know if this is my lemon. I really can't smell that lemon right now. Still a little bit too wet, I guess. The hostas in the back are starting to fill in that spot. I'm liking that. The 9 bark still has a lot of beautiful color on it. Some whites, and the blooms are fading into their reddish pink and purple. The hostas are coming back up in here. I have the 3 in here. And all these down below, you see here, that is Love Lies Bleeding Amaranth. Not that, that's ragweed. That is amaranth, because I had amaranth in here last year and it blooms like crazy. What is all that? Looks like I got a fungus or something. Some type of fungus on my 9 bark. Strange. It's weird. I'm gonna have to spray that with something. Coming out the driveway here, this is the hibiscus, and the buds are just getting bigger. This one's starting to unfurl. It's nice to see. We're gonna probably be at, they're expecting 90 degrees this weekend, so I'm thinking those are gonna be opening up. The bottom of the pot's really starting to fill in, filling all the gaps. I topped that dahlia as well to get it to start branching out. You can see this one was topped a little bit longer ago, and you can see how it starts branching out just like everything else does whenever you top it. Well, a lot of plants. Hosta looks good. I planted something there. I put seeds there of something. I don't remember what it is. The blue fescue's looking good going out. Got the replacements in. The pots are not really doing much going out the driveway yet. I got my chairs out here. Got this whole area weeded. It's ready for mulch. Out here, the sedum looks like it got beat up a little bit by the kids and the dogs. It's holding on. This run going out here, I really need to do something because this clover just keeps invading my line. I can't keep a nice straight edge on this because that clover just keeps running all the way through there. Out here you can see the poplar bed we did a video on just recently. It's looking good. I ended up plugging in 4 impatiens in there just for a splash of color, and I think that's going to turn out well this year. Yeah, we have a new addition out here in the poplar bed. Not poplar. We have a new addition out here by the pergola. This is a red Dianthus. It actually is kind of fragrant. It smells pretty good. But I put that right on the corner of the walking path for a nice splash of color, and it's working out well. Up here you can see I did actually get a peony to bloom. That is a beautifully large peony. Beautiful. Nice white peony. And it smells great. Try to smell it without sucking up an ant, but it smells good. The broccoli back here starting to form heads. You can see that broccoli's forming a head. Not real sure if it's ready to pick. Probably is. And that one's got ahead already. If you would pick that, go ahead and put that in the comment section down below so I know for later. This one looks like it's starting. Not really sure when to pick these broccoli. Don't want to be too early. Probably going to be too late. That pak choi is blooming pretty good. On this front line, the silver lace vine is looking for some more places to go. It's all the way up the trellis and it's reaching as far as it can before it starts cascading back down. I am going to try and do something to get this a little bit further along. I don't want it trapped where it is. The honeysuckle is pretty full. It's actually starting to bloom now. Got the white blooms opening up all over. They're actually white and they're supposed to have some yellow with them. Multicolored bloomer. It's just starting in, so whenever we get this heated up week, I think that's gonna start blooming out pretty nice. Here's a good picture of the yellow and the whites together. Let me get a... And then my dad did pick up a passion flower. Passion fruit, passion flower, one of those really intricate blue flowers, and I'm going to put it right here. I was trying to let these sweet peas go ahead and grab that trellis, but they're not reaching. I think I was too late for the sweet peas. And beside the peony, we have a beautiful red trumpet vine. It's grown out pretty well this year. I only got 2 blooms on her last year, but we're gonna get some more this year, I think. It's growing pretty well. No growth on the gourds or squash that I put out here yet. They need heat, and they're not getting it yet. The food forest is looking pretty dormant, but it's actually showing a lot of signs of growth. This puppy is gonna make his own entrance, because that's not the entrance puppy. It's over here by all the mushrooms. But if we come in here, you can see I did have to put another string line at the bottom. Ooh, I got a blueberries tomato right there. Is that thing ready to pick? I don't know. We got blueberries tomato already starting. It's pretty firm. But yeah, I ran that second line of string just to hold these up a little bit better, trying to force them up to the second line. San Marzanos are looking a lot greener. They're putting on a lot more growth here. I can really tell that the roots are really setting in and taking hold now. I'm gonna go ahead and pluck that flower off my basil and carry it around and smell it this whole time and get another one. San Marzano's looking good. Green grape on the end. You can see it's got some nice dark foliage too. It's probably reaching into the fertilizer that I have underneath the planting hole. I am getting some zinnias out here. That's one. That's a zinnia. Looks like I might have 2 zinnias and 2 marigolds. This one just starting to get some germination as well. There's not much going on with the Rutgers and the what is that? Huckleberry. Keep forgetting that name. I did have tomatillo on this one last time, so we'll check it again. Feels like an empty husk. Yeah, feels like a completely empty husk. Same with that one. So we'll see once they start. We'll see if they start filling out. This is my buried treasure pink strawberry, which I actually did get one on this already, and I came out for it when it was ripe and something already ate it. So it's probably a bird, but I didn't get it, so it's unfortunate. I'm gonna have to wait for another one. Probably not gonna get much out of this bed this year, being only one and a half strawberry plants in there. But once this weather starts heating up this week, I think a lot of things are starting to grow, and some of these strawberries are going to ripen up. I got one out here on this red strawberry bed, and I can show you. It's probably going to be my first one ripe. Look at that, just starting to blush. Gorgeous. Can't wait for these strawberries. I got a bunch in there. Look at them. Just waiting. I'm leaving this screen on. It might just kind of deter the birds from going in there. That's what I'm counting on. This herb container is doing pretty well, and Jaguar Marigold seems like it's taking hold, and it looks like everything else is greening up, starting to stand up with some new growth. Looking pretty good. This is the container without a core in it, but like I said, I haven't watered these at all yet. That one's still doing pretty good. And check on this hascap, see if I'm... Yep, lost it. Yeah, I don't know, something might have came and ate my berry. It don't look like I have any hascaps on this thing. One was getting close, and I don't see it anymore. It kind of like shriveled up, it looks like. There's one right there. You can see a little one there, but it doesn't look like it's doing much. I don't know, that one's shriveling. Not sure what's going on. I was really hoping to get some hascaps, but I think I need more bushes. Pollinate better. Tomatoes over here are starting to take off. We got that storm that took out our maple tree. It also took out my yellow pear tomato. Just took it right off at the base and blew it away. I don't know where it went. It went all the way out through the yard, and never saw it again. So I went ahead and replaced that yellow pear, and I replaced the geranium kiss just to make it a more stronger, sturdier plant. This, I don't know what that one is. It's gonna have to get taller before it can reach that second string. Like these ones are starting to reach, and they're flowering. So we're getting some growth. Peppers look the same. Peppers take a little bit of time. They want the heat. The okra is coming up here though. Someone go ahead and tell me if I should be thinning my okra, or will they figure it out on their own. I don't know, never grown okra before, but let me know if I should be thinning my okra. Right behind that you can see the potatoes, and if you watch my potato video, you know I was trying to do a one and done approach. Drop the compost, put the potatoes in, put a nice layer of straw on top, and not even hill during the year. But these things were sticking out a good foot out of the straw layer I already had here. So to get the most out of my harvest and my efforts, I went ahead and hilled up my potatoes with some more straw. You can see the fresh layer of straw tucked in around all the potatoes. All you do is break up the straw, go ahead, throw it in there, and you want to work it in around, just like you're backfilling some soil. You want to get that worked in around the whole potato plant so the sun's not shining on their fresh fruit. It looks like I'll get some more shoots coming up here real soon. Look out for that next week. The rest of the mound here, I had to do the same. Started hilling up these potatoes, and you can see one day later they're all poking up through again. So I will be hilling these throughout the season. I am waiting on the Harvest Gold potatoes. Doesn't look like anything's going on yet, so I might give these one more week, and then I might go ahead and reallocate this bed for another purpose. The azaleas are looking good. This one was not looking too good, but it's coming back pretty well. This one I believe is a white. I believe this one's white. Yeah, this is a Hino white azalea, and it's struggling. It's probably going to get replaced with that red one we have out down on the patio. If you've been following along with our videos, you know Last week we had a storm and it knocked over one of our 100-foot maple trees. Large maple tree. And it smashed my whole entire perennial garden. Puppy, get out of those potatoes. We got a little extra spot of potatoes up here and Puppy's in there hunting. But right here behind me now, you can see we have a large pile of branches and leaves. This is the top half of our maple tree. This is everything under 12 inches diameter because we're going to be getting a wood chipper this weekend and we're going to wood chip all these into a nice pile right here. And that pile is what I'm going to be using around the garden, and it's actually a good time to get these wood chips because the heat's about to start up and I'd like to get my pathways around my raised beds covered with some wood chips. And I'll keep the grass down, the maintenance down, plus it'll help hold in moisture in that area. This is our spare or extra potatoes, and they also got healed up with some more straw this week because they're all poking through. I believe these ones are all red potatoes, and some of them probably even overwintered, stayed in that pile. It's right next to our nursery out here that's not looking too good, huh? Got those emerald green arborvitaes in the back, and they are dying off. One of those Gold Rider Leland Cypress, Gold Rider, yeah, that's what it is. Gold Rider Leland Cypress is dying. I'm hoping I can still save 2 of them. We'll see. Hemlocks are in there, and then the new addition out here, we threw a burning bush root in just to see if we can get it to take. There was a burning bush up at the nursery we picked out the stone crop from. And it'd be nice to have one, so we're going to try and get that root to take. He was nice enough to give us a broken piece off of it. See if we can. Puppy's in there trimming the weeds. Huh, Pup? I'm going to bring you out here and show you where we put the rest of our 100-foot maple tree. Everything that was not, get a stick out of my yard, everything that does not fit into the wood chipper, we are putting up behind the barn to be seasoned for about a year before we can start using it in our wood burner. You don't want to burn fresh wood, just puts a lot of creosote out and clogs up the inner workings of the wood burner. So I'm going to bring you up and show you what pile we got and what it looks like half of a 100-foot maple tree. On the way, we got a nice look at the Empress. It's really tall, not really symmetrical. A couple branches aren't really filling in the way they should, but we'll see how that thing progresses. I think the rabbits are eating my Fuji Green Giant. It's looking a little scampy. Up here by our new maple, you can see we have a big pile of wood. Here it is, 100-year-old maple tree reduced to this little pile. I don't know, we could probably count the rings. If anybody wants to pause the video and count the rings, go ahead. But with a chainsaw, kind of scarred it up a little bit. A little hard to ring it true, a little hard to read it true. This is the pile we made. We just threw a couple down so we could keep the majority of the logs up off the ground and they can dry out a little better. That's it. That's what the maple tree is left with. Like I said, we'll leave these go for about a year and then we can start cutting it up and use it for firewood. Come on, Pup. Now you don't need to go that way. There's nothing up there, buddy. Nothing up there. Come here. Now I'm going to take you down and show you where we are at with the cleanup and rejuvenation process for the perennial garden. But first, Puppy. Before we get there, we'll take a quick look at the rock mound, just to have some video record of what it was looking like at this time of year. That wavy petunia in there is doing real good, that red one. Everything else is pretty much the same. I just want to see what it's looking like during the different times of year. The rhododendrons in full bloom now. Hostas are adding some color. The new additions here are Calla Lilies. You can see a little stalk right there. Calla Lilies are planted all along this brick line to here, and they branch off into the rhododendron where I'm planning on putting a sitting bench, and then on the other side they come back out and continue the rest of the way down the rock mound. The pomegranate yarrow is really liking its new spot, a lot better than it was. It's looking real good, it's starting to color up. Over here, the golden spirea, candy corn spirea, is looking pretty vibrant. And in the back, the newest addition is this daisy, sunshine daisy something, lemony white daisy, pretty profuse bloomer it looks like. But I threw that into this corner just so we can have a splash of color from a distance. It just adds a nice little bit of color in the corner back there. Over here on the coral bells, they're shooting up another flush of blooms, it looks like. Little dainty little stalks here, but they are covered in them. They did bloom once already, which is strange. I didn't think they'd go ahead and do another flush, but the beautiful foliage is looking great right there. A lot of colors right there, which I'm liking. Be nice if it was a little fuller, but we'll get there. We'll get there. All right, down to the garden. It's looking pretty empty in here. We got all the wood out. We got the whole broken fence out. Pretty much everything cleaned up. I just haven't got in here to do any work with the plants at all. Check on them, prune them back, anything. But we can see I did lose my main leader. It's on there, but it's completely snapped. On that thuja, the two ferns took a beating, but they're still there. The biggest loss, I think, were the lilies. All the lilies are pretty much done. I don't think they're gonna send up blooms. We'll see. We're gonna leave them there. Barberry's good. Both of the hibiscus did make it out alive. Golden spirea. You can see the leotris, the two leotris, they're still good. I got one of my daisy cuttings. It made it. The barberry, or not barberry, oak leaf holly definitely took a main trunk snappage. I don't know. Still have one trunk. I might just take this one off and let it go with this one. See how that does. Ligularia, it actually made it alive. I had to take a bunch of these dead leaves off just so it wasn't struggling, but I think it's gonna survive and bounce back just fine. I don't know what this is. What is this? It's a weird tree-like vine type thing coming out. I don't know. The Pyrrhus is all faded, but for the most part it made it out. The foxglove is a very nice surprise. We saw it in the last video, but it is alive and covered in ants. You guys see that? Covered in ants. Is that normal? I don't know. We got a lot of ants at the property. Every time we dig a hole, there's more ants. This hosta lost the stalk, but it's got another one coming. We got some poppies underneath that are struggling. Hopefully we get these to take and they can drop some seed this year. Procosmia made it out relatively unscathed, but the gladiolas behind, they took a pretty severe beating. Some of the spiderworts just fine. I got one. I thought I had three. I definitely had three. Got 2. I know I had 3. Oh well, we got 2. It'll spread. This daisy in the back, the biggest daisy I had in here, hoping to see it bloom this year. I'm gonna have to reset it. It's actually barely in the, it's just sitting there. The stump, one of the branches actually came in here and hit and dug this whole plant out. Threw it over there. See how it's trenched right here. It got completely uprooted, so I need to actually pull that up, get some soil under there and replant it. This lily hedge is pretty much, I don't know, we'll see. It's hard to tell from just looking at it what's good. I don't want to start pulling on things. A lot of it's just going to come out, but we'll see what stands up and what turns brown. My other thuja, it's got a broken branch. I have to prune that off. But the thujas made it out. They're fine. The barberries, they're fine. All the main large shrubs seem to have been okay. The lilies over here also had another severe branch encounter. But we're gonna see what's still attached and what'll stand back up, because a lot of this will stand back up. We'll just have a little curve to them. This one, it's practically snapped off. The phlox, it made it out just fine. This lily had a big branch. You can see the mark, the dirt mark. It was smashed dead center of this lily. And yeah, that's got some broken spots in it, but I think it's gonna make it out pretty well, unlike the sedum. This was a beautiful sedum, nice round shapely sedum, but this year it's no longer. We'll see how it stands back up. Stay tuned and we'll see how tough that stone crop sedum is. This hibiscus is doing a little bit better. Get some of that sawdust out of there, but it's still standing. It's nice to see. Up up. We did lose the majority of the fence in the backside and most of the posts, so I'm gonna have to be setting some new posts in there and some more fence rails. That's gonna suck. The Rose of Sharons did lose one of the irises, got completely uprooted and shot out, but the Rose of Sharon stood back up. You can see, probably still gonna dock them back pretty far. They took a beating. Some of the branches are snapped. They did rebound pretty well, flexible plants. I am going to probably, like I said, dock them back pretty far so that they can just regenerate. I don't want them hanging over the fence line anymore like they were. We'll see. This fence post still pretty sturdy, so we can reuse that. The other ones we're gonna have to put some new ones, sink some new ones in. We gotta fix that fence up there anyway. We've got posts for that section here, but we need some more now because we lost some more fence. All right, so that's the perennial area. You can see on the other side, the Rose of Sharon took a little bit more of a beating. So that one will get docked back, but it's sprung up. It's still gonna be alive. And then all the sawdust will probably just wash in. It'll be fine. This is the other half of the maple. So you can see there's still a decent sized trunk here left. Carpenter ants are in it. Yeah, we got to get rid of this tree because it is leaning directly over my new holly and hydrangea row, and I don't want to lose that. So coming out here past the row, no damage. Gotta fix the fence, but we do have some more plantings out here. I believe I told you we planted the corner out last time and they're just starting to bloom. The petunias are showing some color, And the Russian sage is actually starting to put on some color as well. It's not going to be a big show this year, but that's fine. I think it's still going to look good. The Sarah's Smile rose did have one on it yesterday, but the rain must have got it. It's not a double, it's just a 5-petal rose, but it adds a splash of color down here. Coming out to the front, you can see the grape hyacinths are dying back. Hostas are coming in. That's a nice round circle of hostas. Did real good with that planting. Over on this side, I'll get another view of the Empress. You can see how much growth it's been putting on. Almost has a canopy up there. Leaves are starting to touch. I think it's starting to look real nice. But you can see I planted 22 marigolds out here, and the slugs are devouring my marigolds. I've got the Captain Jack's dead bug dust on there, but they still keep eating my marigolds. I already replaced 5 out here. This is one of the ones that got replaced. But look at that. That to that. Very quick. Make sure there's no slugs on it at the moment. But I definitely have some of these to replace. Look, that's a nice full one. And then look at this. Gone. Speaking of ants, try to pull up this plant, this weed. Watch this. Red ants everywhere. See if this one does it. Yep. Red ants. So we got an ant problem. Everywhere there's ants. Oh well. Here you can see the castor bean starting to color up, showing its true leaf. Hopefully that'll get nice and big. We did get the dead Rose of Sharons out of here. I had 2 of them die this year. I'm replacing this one with a black lace elderberry, which I think is going to be a nice bigger statement plant. Here's some more of my dying marigolds. I'm going to wait because it is going to rain for the next 3 days. I'm going to go ahead and wait on those replacements because they're just going to keep getting eaten. I can't protect them in the rain. So I'm going to wait for some drier days before I start replacing them. On my mailbox trellis, you can see they are setting a ton of flowers. The flower buds are set and ready for the warm week to open up. What are you looking for, pup? We got some more broccoli. This is the purple sprouting broccoli. So I think I'm growing it wrong. Am I supposed to get broccoli immediately? Or do I have to wait a year on this stuff? It's a good question. The Datura, which is a species family of the moonflower, is starting to show a couple blooms. Haven't seen this actually fully open. I wonder if it opens at night. Seems to be opening more in the early mornings, and I'm just not out here early enough, I guess, to see it fully open. This is my other broccoli, and I have no heads on this broccoli. This is the Waltham 29 broccoli. Still give it time. Got some cannas coming up here. Still waiting on all the elephant ears I put in here. Check out this peony. This one has a little bit of splash of red in the center. It's pretty. It's pretty. Is this one fragrant? Oof, they're all fragrant. Glorious. Love me some fragrant flowers. Looks like we have some pink peonies opening up here. That'll be nice. We'll be starting getting some more color out here That's another pink peony. We need all the color we can get out here. Really waiting. This rose is starting to give us a little bit. This is a knockout rose, and it's doing a little bit. As with these knockout roses, Dianthus is still putting on a beautiful show. Got the pink one. We got the red knockout roses starting to blush here. Got some little alliums here. And we're waiting on this bigger allium to open up. It is prime. The rest of these azaleas pretty much done. And I am happy to show you all of this. If you've been following along, we had a video early spring of laying out this whole bed of old lady carpet, or ranunculus as the majority calls it. But it looks like we have decent germination all the way down. Some little spotty, maybe a little spotty there. But all in all, I think we're gonna have a decent color crop here. Right there is some of my hollyhocks I threw in, which I don't know why I put them there. I don't think they're gonna be a good. No, just I don't know why I put them there. They shouldn't be there. Need to find a better place for them. I'll probably dig them up and move them, because I don't even want them there for this year. Look at that. Bunch more red ants. What are they doing? Is that eggs on there? Is that eggs or what? What are they doing to all these roots? Nasty. Those are citronella ants. You can tell because whenever you pull them up, you can actually smell citronella. If you squish one, you get a lot more fragrance of citronella, but I can smell them as soon as I pull up one of those weeds. I know exactly what's under there. They smell. And once it heats up, they're gonna start flying. They'll fly all around and it'll be unbearable to be outside. So that sucks. I don't know. Not much growth on my pots. Definitely have some new growth on the parv. So it's like in its spot, but not a lot of size on the annuals. Got the straw flower still looking good. Still got 2 baby eggs in there. I think this is a finch or a wren. I think it's a finch. We got some pansies and impatiens blooming down there. We'll check my other pot with the coleus and the portulaca and the autumn brilliance fern in the back. These don't get much sun, so we'll see how they do. Hope you're gonna wait there. Got some more monkey face pansies starting to bloom up in here. I switched these 2 pots. This pot and that pot are the same, but that one gets more sun, so I go ahead and switch those pots every week. Try and get them even. Still nothing going on with this pot. This has the 2 purple wave petunias in it and the Dusty Miller, so with the Dracaena spike in the center. Over here, fuchsia is doing amazing, and the pansies are just starting to color up. Up here in the straw flower, we have another bird's nest. This is a robin's nest, and the mama's real mad at me right now because I'm checking out the babies. I'm not gonna hurt them. Just checking out the babies. She's up there. Look at her. She's pissed. She is not happy about me being by her babies. So I'm gonna get moving. We got the color splash coleus. I don't know what the name is, but I just called it that. And I threw some more, got the more hostas in here. I think they're looking good. This whole hosta bed's starting to fill out. I don't know. I think it looks good this year. Over down here, we can see nothing new. The astilbe is just starting to bud up, and you can see if I look in real close, You can see the ants are all over the astilbe as well. I don't know what they're doing. Messing with the aphids or something. Astilbe starting to bloom. Hosta's starting to bloom. Rhododendrons just finishing. This big stump here is from the maple that fell, and we are going to use this and turn it into a large bird feeder. We're going to pull that platform bird feeder out, dig a hole, drop this big stump in, and it's going to stick out. We'll be able to do some different things with the bird feeder, put a platform on it or anything else, but it'll be a nice big stump to work with, and we'll be able to save part of the maple tree, which I'm fond of. This was my cattle panel trellis. Well, this was my cattle panel I was going to use for a trellis on my raised beds down in the garden. That is gone because the tree fell and folded that baby right in half. So if anybody has a good idea for a warped, folded in half cattle panel, go ahead and leave that in the comment section down below. Hey puppy. Red rhododendron still has a little bit of bloom on it. Lost more of the fence there. The purple rhododendrons still have pretty good color on them, but you can see the petals start dropping off the stems. So they'll be finished probably by next week. Dogwood's looking pretty good. I like the color of the leaves. I think it's a nice little splash in here. I didn't realize when I bought it was going to be that vibrant of leaves, but I'm liking it. This is still my staging area. So some of these plants are still going in, some are just backups. I got more snapdragon. There's a vinca blooming right there. Plenty of more marigolds and basil and tomato backups. Got more nasturtiums and hollyhocks, and I got a lot to still go out. A lot of this cilantro and parsley and peppers. And then I have back in there is a bunch of cucumbers and squash and stuff, and that's pretty much a trap crop. A lot of the cucumber beetles, slugs, and squash vine borers, everything is in there, and I'm going to leave them there because I'm trying to save all my other stuff. So I'm going to leave those there as a trap crop. They can go in there and enjoy everything they want and hopefully leave my stuff alone. I will be starting some more vegetable seeds this week. Maybe some beets, radishes, carrots, some salad onions. And I'll probably be starting some backup tomatoes for the late season. And we'll see some, you guys can follow along next week for what I do get started. So I'm going to bring you into the garden and show you what's going on this week. Down here I did finally harvest all my greens. Got these cut out of here, so this is freshly picked this morning. And then my onions are doing great. I just want to show you this one onion because it is getting massive back here. You see that? It's already got shoulders. It's already bulbing out. I think this square foot garden method is working out amazing for my onions. Carrots, not so much. I don't know how to grow carrots really. Like they're growing, they're thinned out, and they're still just not doing anything. Got the kale and the chard, that's all harvested by now. Did get some turnip greens out of here. Got these 3 turnips growing. They should be doing good. I got 3 kohlrabi in here, just starting off. Then I got some weeds that I need to pull. I did harvest some radishes already out of here. I'm gonna leave some of those go and get a little bit bigger. The beet leaves, I got some of those off of here, and they're just starting to take hold. They're not really plumping up yet. But I think those onions are just glorious. Over here in my other 2 large raised beds, this is where that cattle panel trellis was supposed to go, but dreams dashed. Some more radishes here. French dressing radishes are starting to color up there on the right. The center is the cherry bells, and then the left is the royal purple. They are densely sown in there, so hopefully they can thin themselves out. The carrots here, I didn't thin, so I'm probably not going to get any carrots. That's my fault, but I don't want to thin carrots. So if you guys know a way of planting carrots without thinning them, let me know. Down here the onions are doing pretty good too. They're just starting out. They're a succession behind the last set of onions. These are my turnips. They're looking great. They're doing exactly what I thought they would be doing. They're actually a little bit better. Keep getting some late germinations here, so I gotta thin these out. It's not as hard as thinning carrots. But I just come down here and pick these weeds out as they're happening. That was a big fescue coming in. It was healthy. Let me try and tamp that back down so the carrot roots are okay. Maybe not. Coming over here, you can see all this tall fescue dropping seed into my garden. Look at all that seed. What's wrong with me? Just cut it. The broccoli and cabbage and cauliflower are looking all real nice. I don't know, never grew it before, but to me, that's a nice healthy row of brassicas. Into the vegetable garden side here, there is not much to show you. You can come through, see that pretty calendula. That's something worth showing. That's a nice flower. But the rest of these are just starting to take hold. There is no well, actually this one does have some fruit on it. There's some fruit sets. What's this? This is my green grape. So it's dropping some fruit. It's probably early. They'll probably not make it because I just planted that thing. But I think everything's just starting out this year. I have been fighting the cucumber beetles and a couple squash bug. I haven't seen many squash bug, but there is some. And the slugs and cucumber beetles have been my enemy this year. Going out to Squash Mountain, I've been dusting those almost every day because we've been getting rain. And for the slugs, I've been sprinkling bug and slug granulars everywhere, plus dusting them because the granulars didn't even stop them. On my marigolds, I did my marigolds. The next day I walked out and 5 of them were already gone, and then I went and grabbed 2 more. I went and grabbed some to replace them, go out, and 2 more are dead. So I dusted those to try and shut the slugs down right away, and now I'm just waiting for a dry streak to go replace the 5 or 7 more that I need to replace out there. So that's what we're doing this week in the spring. We're cleaning up the maple tree. Kind of put us behind on some things, but we still got that red bank planted out with the annuals. And we've just been fighting all the pests until the predators start coming out. So we still got some more things to plant, and we got a hot week coming. So there should be a lot of new growth coming this week into next week. I want to be plugging out all those extra flowers I have just everywhere out in the garden, just so anywhere that needs a splash of color for the summer. Mainly marigolds, because marigolds last forever into the first frost. So I like using a lot of those. But, well, thank you for coming on. Thanks for coming along. That's all for this week's garden tour. Puppy, you're supposed to be with me. That's all for this garden tour. You can find me and Echo on the next one. Thanks for watching.